Once, while out buying a game, a sleep-deprived shut-in named Kazuma Satō mistakes a tractor for a speeding truck and rushes to push a girl out of the way, dying from shock as a result. In the afterlife, Kazuma is greeted by a goddess named Aqua, who offers to transport him to an RPG-like world in order to battle against the Devil King instead of going to heaven or reincarnation. Given the option to choose any item or ability to arm himself with, Kazuma, annoyed by Aqua's attitude, decides to drag her along with him to the town of Axel.
This is how the anime KonoSuba starts out. With Aqua unable to return until the Devil King is defeated, the two earn some money to register as adventurers, with Kazuma being assigned to a rather generic adventurer class, while Aqua is assigned as an archpriest. The two proceed to spend the following weeks working a carefree life as laborers, before eventually remembering that they need to do some actual adventuring. After struggling to defeat some giant frogs, Kazuma and Aqua seek out members to join their party. They are soon approached by Megumin, a magician capable of performing powerful explosion magic. However, they quickly discover that she becomes incapacitated immediately after casting her explosion spell and is too stubborn to learn anything else. Kazuma reluctantly keeps Megumin in his party so she wouldn't make him seem like a perverted freak in public. Kazuma is then approached by a crusader named Darkness, who also seems to have a dubious quirk. As Kazuma becomes cautious about Darkness's odd behavior, her thief friend Chris offers to teach him a steal skill, which he inadvertently uses to steal girls' panties. Later, the entire town is brought together to defeat an army of cabbage monsters for the harvest, where Darkness demonstrates her ability to withstand enemy attacks as a masochist. With hunting requests declining due to one of the Devil King's generals moving in nearby, Kazuma accompanies Megumin as she practices her explosion magic on a seemingly abandoned castle. This ends up infuriating the general Beldia the Delahan, who has been living in that very castle. Placing a death curse upon Darkness, Beldia demands that Megumin come to his castle within a week in order to save Darkness's life. Shortly after Beldia takes his leave, however, Aqua simply removes the curse from Darkness, eliminating the need to make the journey to the castle. Wanting to earn some money despite only hard quests being available, Aqua takes on a request to purify a lake filled with alligator monsters, with the others putting her in a cage to keep her safe. Though Aqua eventually gets the quest done, she is left somewhat traumatized from hours of alligator attacks. On the way back, the group encounter Kyoya Mitsurugi, another human Aqua had sent to Axel, who was less than pleased with the way Aqua is seemingly being treated. Kyoya challenges Kazuma to a duel, but is quickly defeated after Kazuma steals the cursed sword he received when he came to the RPG world. The next day, after Kyoya becomes shocked to find that Kazuma has sold his sword, Beldia returns to the town wondering why no one came to fight him. Annoyed that Megumin had still been using his castle for explosion practice, Beldia, after proving easily susceptible to Aqua's purification magic, summons an undead army which is quickly defeated by Megumin's explosion magic. As Beldia then battles against Darkness, Kazuma declares that he is weak against water and has Aqua attack him with a flood. Managing to weaken him, Kazuma manages to steal Beldia's head, giving Aqua the chance to defeat him with her magic. The next day, Kazuma and his party earn a hefty reward for defeating Beldia, which is immediately put towards paying off the damages Aqua's flood caused to the town. Needing money to pay off his debts despite the freezing weather, Kazuma and his party take on a quest to kill snow sprites. However, their hunting attracts the attention of a powerful winter shogun who kills Kazuma, sending him to the world's afterlife where he meets a goddess named Iris. Just as Iris offers him the chance to be reincarnated into the human world once again, Aqua uses her resurrection magic to bring Kazuma back to life. Kazuma and Aqua visit a magic shop run by a kind-hearted lich named Wiz, who reveals herself to be one of the Demon King's generals in charge of protecting a barrier surrounding the Devil King's castle. After Wiz teaches Kazuma the Drain Touch skill, the party takes on a request to exorcise evil spirits from a mansion, where they can stay during the winter. Later that night, Kazuma and Megumin find themselves on the run from an army of possessed dolls, while also desperately needing the bathroom. The following morning, Aqua reveals that her actions after first meeting Wiz led to the mansion being haunted in the first place. The next day, a mobile fortress known as the Destroyer approaches town. With their members being perfectly suited for the job, Kazuma's party, along with Wiz, are chosen to lead an attack against the Destroyer. Meanwhile, Darkness tells Kazuma that her true name is Dustinus Ford La Latina, the daughter of a well-regarded family. Using Aqua's barrier-breaking spells and Megumin and Wiz's explosion magic, the party manages to take down the destroyer, only to set off a self-destruct sequence. Heading inside to find a way to stop the destroyer from exploding, Kazuma manages to find the power source and has Wiz teleported elsewhere, before Megumin uses a powered-up explosion to destroy the fortress. Afterward, Kazuma reminisced about all their adventures and accomplishments and looked forward to their next adventure. That is until the special prosecutor Senna showed up to arrest him, because they had randomly teleported the destroyer power core away to prevent its first self-destruct, and the core exploded and destroyed the local governor's mansion. So the first anime season ended with Kazuma as one of the most wanted criminals in the kingdom, and he retracted any good thoughts he had about this fantasy world. Finding no support from his allies, Kazuma is arrested for treason due to accidentally blowing up a noble's mansion. As Aqua makes various failed attempts to break him loose, Kazuma is interrogated by the prosecutor, Senna, using a magic lie detector. Due to his connections with Wiz, Kazuma is arrested for having connections with the Devil King and put on trial, where all of his perverted crimes are brought to light. Although Kazuma manages to prove that he's not part of the Devil King's army, Alderp, the noble who the mansion belonged to, sways the judge towards a guilty verdict. Just then, Darkness reveals her heritage to the Dustinus family and convinces the judge to give Kazuma a stay of trial. Now tasked with proving his innocence and repaying the damages to the mansion, Kazuma quickly finds all of his possessions repossessed to go towards his debt. After Darkness fails to return from her visit to Alderp the previous night, Kazuma's party begins worrying for her chastity. However, Senna barges in, ordering the party to cull the giant toads around Axel, since the toads had been woken by Megumin's explosions. After everyone in the party except Kazuma is each captured and swallowed by a giant toad, the party is saved from total annihilation by Yanyun, who effortlessly slaughters the toads with Light of Saber. In Wiz's magic shop the next day, the party meets Yunyun again. Yunyun and Megumin duel each other using Wiz's friendship crystal. To their dismay, the duo quickly learns that the crystal deepens friendship by exposing embarrassing memories to onlookers. All those present are stunned from catching a glimpse of Megumin's constant struggle to acquire food and Yunyun's life of loneliness. Megumin shatters the crystal in horror. When deciding who would be paying for the broken merchandise, Megumin ends up challenged by Yunyun to decide the victor by deciding who has grown more over the years, when Megumin proclaims that she is no longer childish enough to obsess over winning or losing some games. However, to secure her victory, Megumin announces that she has actually graduated from childishness, as she is in a stable relationship with Kazuma where the two of them can actually take a bath together. This shocks Yunyun so much that she dashes out of the shop in tears. Darkness suddenly returns, asking for the others' help in getting out of an arranged marriage with Alderp's son, Walther. Secretly eager to get Darkness out of his party, Kazuma suggests that she attend the marriage meeting under the pretense of ruining it. Afterwards, the arranged marriage is called off before Kazuma is once again approached by Senna. As a result of a magic circle that Aqua had drawn in Keel's dungeon, strange explosive doll monsters have started to appear, putting the town at risk. Investigating the dungeon once more, Kazuma and Darkness discover the archmagician behind the dolls to be one of the Devil King's comrades, Vanir, who has the ability to read minds. Although he appears to be defeated following a lucky attack, Vanir attaches his mask onto Darkness and possesses her body, only to be completely put off by her masochism. After Kazuma cleans up the magic circle and places a seal on Vanir's mask, Vanir attempts to use Darkness's body to take vengeance on Aqua. When removing the seal fails to do anything, Kazuma has Megumin cast Explosion to destroy Vanir. Afterwards, Darkness is faced with the embarrassment of everyone calling her La Latina, while Kazuma has his debt cleared and is gifted a hefty reward for defeating Vanir. Kazuma is surprised to discover that Vanir had an extra life, and has since quit his position as a commander to work at Wiz's shop, striking up a business partnership to sell products from Kazuma's world. One of these is a kotatsu, which Kazuma refuses to come out from under and harasses Darkness and Megumin when they try to get him out. Even when he finally needs to use the bathroom, he still refuses to come out and asks Darkness and Megumin to carry it to the bathroom with him in it. Fed up with his behavior, the two girls instead throw him and the kotatsu out the window. Later, after making a somewhat regretful sword purchase, Kazuma and his party go on a quest to eliminate a group of lizard runners. However, due to various factors, Kazuma's plan ends up in failure, and he once again dies and finds himself in Eris's underworld. While waiting to be revived, Kazuma starts to perceive Eris as his ideal heroine, and contemplates just being reborn into the real world until Megumin takes drastic measures to convince him to return to his body. Kazuma, Darkness, Aqua, and Megumin return in shame to the Adventurers Guild after having wiped out large quantities of fish that the adventurers loved. Kazuma is also shamed by several women nearby as a pervert, and becomes depressed until Yunyun arrives and asks to bear his child. Everyone returns to Kazuma's mansion, where Kazuma himself is quite excited, but Megumin and Darkness insist on questioning why Yunyun wants Kazuma's child. They discover that a note from her father claimed the entire Crimson Magic village had been wiped out, and that only a son between Yunyun and a lowly adventurer could avenge them. They figure out that the latter portion was falsified, and so Yunyun returns to the village, much to Kazuma's consternation. Later, Megumin decides to check in on the village as well, so Wiz teleports them most of the way there. Unfortunately, they land near a gathering of female orcs, who chase down and molest Kazuma until Yunyun arrives to free him. Continuing on to the village, they encounter several goblins and other creatures being discovered due to Kazuma loudly demanding to know where Yunyun's tattoo is, and due to Yunyun and Megumin arguing. Megumin quickly casts an explosion, wiping out the first wave, but another horde arrives and is only stopped by several Crimson Magic Clan members who saw the explosion and arrived to help. Afterward, the party finally reaches the village, only to find it perfectly intact. Yunyun's father had grossly exaggerated the danger. Despite Sylvia being present and attacking, the Crimson Magic Clan's magic easily repelled them. Finally arriving at Megumin's home, Kameko welcomes them, and Megumin's poor parents quickly take an interest in Kazuma, who, quote, lives in a mansion and has more wealth than expected. Yui, Megumin's mother, soon locks Kazuma in Megumin's room in the hopes that Kazuma would make a move. However, Megumin tricks Kazuma into admitting his desire, and she runs away via a window to Yunyun's house. The next day, Yui traps them in a room again, this time with the window frozen over with magic. Kazuma gets Megumin to calm down and share the bedding. To Kazuma's surprise, Megumin willingly cuddles with him. Having learned from the previous night, he decides to let Megumin make the first move this time. Sylvia attacks again, capturing Kazuma outside Megumin's house, but Kazuma is initially quite happy, resting his head and inhaling deeply between Sylvia's melons. When he realizes that Sylvia is a hermaphrodite, however, he panics, but is still successfully kidnapped and brought to an old ruin. There, Sylvia hopes to access a mage killer power, and Kazuma traps her inside. She finds the power inside, however, and everyone flees as she expands into a several-story-tall snake-like being and goes on a rampage. Unable to stop her, Kazuma finds a counter-weapon, the railgun, built by a scientist who died and came to the world as well. Initially, it doesn't work, until Megumin uses explosion magic to charge it, at which point Kameko uses it to kill Sylvia. In the afterlife, Sylvia encounters Beldia and Hans, and the three of them resurrect and return to the world of the living as a unified monstrosity. With the Crimson Magic Clan cut off from their magic by Sylvia, Wiz and Veneer arrive to hold the new creature at bay. Overmatched, Wiz retreats to the villagers while Veneer possesses Darkness, holding it off until Kazuma could reach out to Sylvia. While Kazuma professed his love for Sylvia, Wiz drew together the magic of the villagers to send to Megumin and Yunyun, who used combined magic to defeat Sylvia, killing Kazuma in the process. Kazuma comes back to life, again, and has a picnic with his party. There, Megumin apologizes for only having one ability, and offers to reallocate her points to learn different magic spells. However, Kazuma puts her points into even more powerful explosion magic, and when Megumin next casts the spell, it's nearly nuclear in scale. The resulting mushroom cloud is in the shape of a heart, and that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading lots of videos just like this, so I'll see you in the next one.